Good point. Good
Can
point.
you see that? Camera right angle.
Right now for the working mom. That's what I'm going to say. All right. Let's go ahead and get started since we are recording now while we wait for Chris to come back. Good morning, everybody at the remote cohort over there. The Kiwanis MIDI pod, is that what we're going to call you now? All right, so I want to welcome our guest, Pat, who's going to be our speaker today, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance so that all those guys that just got breakfast can stand up, because they always do. I'm going to be like, look, we're going to do
the pledge. Pledge, guys. I got a neighbor moving in.
Give them like a 2-second warning here so they can all stand up. It's not like real life. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the nation for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And Stan, do you want to lead us in prayer this morning?
Sure. Let's bow our heads. We thank you, dear Lord, for this morning and this opportunity to join together in fellowship. We ask that we thank you for the prayers that you give us for healing and for grace and the faith that you give us. We ask that you watch over those that are been suffering through these hard times, and those families that have lost a loved one and that are suffering, and continued prayers for Brian Kennedy and his family. We ask for guidance for this organization in helping those in our community that are less fortunate than we are. We submit all these prayers in your name, Lord. Amen.
All right. Since Davis is here, Davis, do you want to give us an update on Brian?
Yeah, thank you everyone for the prayers. Brian has finished all of his treatments. He did his last hydration treatment this week, and so I think he's feeling a lot better knowing that his treatments come to an end. So I think they're just kind of developing a plan of what his recovery will look like from now on.
Then I see that we've got a CKI member, I think. And I'm not sure who this other second person just joined is, but do you want to give a CKI update, Ashley?
Yeah. Yes, so we just had our first service project meeting, and we did either Zooniverse or UNICEF Math for Good, and just recently we went to the district large scale service project. It was from 1 to 8. 2 of us attended. And it was super fun. We learned a lot about leadership and how to figure out the next school year. Whatever happens, if we go back to school, if it's hybrid, or if it's back online, and how to figure out any of the service projects. So that was really helpful. And we have decon coming up in March, so we're getting ready for that as well. So yeah.
Good.
Fantastic. All right. I don't know who Alex is. Is that a new member?
He's our new member.
Okay. See, this is what happens when people have fun names on their thing. I'm like, is that the new person? I think so. Welcome back. Welcome, Melinda and Angelina, who've joined us. There's a small kid running behind me. I'm so sorry. And the next thing on our regular updates that I'm going to do before we let Pat present for us is I do want to remind everybody that we are selling C's Candy. So are the Action Clubs and the CKI Club. The forms, they come in 2 forms. There's a children's form, which the high schoolers are using, and there's an adult form that looks like, where's my camera? It looks like this. This one actually has full boxes of candy if you're like a business owner and you wanted to purchase candy to give out to your clients or to your friends. They will be delivered by Easter. Money is due to me by the 13th. If you are working with a Key Club or something and you are watching this and you've been given an earlier date, that's because your Key Club advisor has to count stuff before they give it to me, and they want to make sure they have it in time. So use whatever date they gave you, but if you're a regular Kiwanis Money member, the money is due to me. I have more of these forms if you want to sell to your friends or you want to get credit for yourselves. If you're a regular Kiwanis member and you sell the candy The money goes into our fund. If you are a Key Club member or a CKI member or an Action Club member and you sell candy, the money goes back to your club. So that is how that works. We're also still working on a beer and cheese fundraiser. For those of you who missed the last meeting, when we reached out to Dust Bowl Brewery, they declined selling us beer for St. Patrick's Day and said, we look forward to seeing you guys at the fair, but we're not interested in doing a St. Patrick's Day special. So we reached out to 2 other breweries and they're getting us prices. They're not the only brewery here locally, and the other 2 were super excited to help a service club. So we are thankful for that. So we should have that second fundraiser. And in April, we do have a fundraiser for pizza with Willie's Pizza and Wings again. So we'll talk about that more when we get there. Our guest today is Pat Portwood with Friends of the Turlock Library. Pat, welcome. And I'm going to try and put up your present. Oh, helps if I open the presentation.
Okay.
I'm about to share.
Well,
Hold on
thank
one
you.
second.
I'll go ahead and I'm Pat Portwood. I am the president currently of the Friends of the Turlock Library. And I am very honored to be here to share with you the great progress we're making. If you ever need to brighten your day, just drive along Minaret and take a look at what our library is becoming, which is just a showcase. I mean, it is beautiful. And, you know, a year ago, we really thought that it was going to be maybe not happen. You know, we had just done groundbreaking. All of a sudden COVID came in and I thought, oh my gosh, there's going to stop, freeze everything. But lucky for us, it did not. And so I'm here to tell you a little bit about us, who we are as the Friends, and then how this all happened, and then what's going on, and a little bit about when we may open. So I know we have library lovers here. I just heard Chris talking about how much, you know, the kids miss it. And I know people are missing it. So that's a great thing, because when it returns, which we are hoping will be about June, should be wonderful. You're looking right now at the front of the library. Now the front is a new front. It's going to be facing out towards the senior center, not Minaret. That will be one of the first changes you'll notice. If you drive along Minaret, you'll see this beautiful outside, and you're going to see a paving that goes all the way around like a little trail. But we changed the front, and for a lot of reasons, and the parking lot's being redone and everything. So here you see a rendering of what it will be looking like. Then you see the insides, and you see this is what we call the main library as it comes in. And so all of this, we are now in the middle of a campaign that is actually, without the middle, about the end of our campaign, which I'm going to tell you about, sponsored by the Friends of the Turlock Library. And so that is the next slide there. And you will see, we were established, you know, about 1994, there were a lot of problems with libraries. They didn't have funding. They were looking for support. The county had cut back. I mean, it was not good times. So they formed this Friends of the Turlock Public Library, and it became a 501c3 nonprofit, able to raise monies and to give back and to do things. And it was strictly to support the needs of the Turlock Library. Well, over the years, one of the needs has been, as you're going to see on the next slide, it is the history of the Turlock Library. Someone commented, I think it was Larry, he said, oh my gosh, it looks so big now. Well, when it opened in 1968, all right, that's the year I graduated from college, the population of Turlock was 30,000. And, you know, right now we are up to annual circulation, at least a year ago. You can see the amount of books that go through there. It is a regional library. And people, we count people as they come in various times. We do that just to track to see how many, what's the activity. And you can see the large amount of people coming in and out of there. And so the Friends said there is a great need to increase the size. If you went there with children's, for children's programs like Chris, you had been talking, I mean, it's just everybody's, you know, just squashed in there because there's not enough room. And this was a library for 30,000 people. We are now up into the 70s. And so the need to increase the size. And we went from approximately 10,000 square feet, we are now at 16,530. And if you count outward into the yard and all that, we are reaching more like 19,000 square feet. So it is definitely looking larger. And we are so happy that after years of struggling with the need, that finally people listened. And so that started. I have to say, one of our library heroes champions is Vito Chiesi. He has done an amazing thing. He loves the library. He is our supervisor, and he has stepped out and has pushed for it as much as we have. And so finally, we got approval to expand the Turlock Library, and with money, just 12,795. You see the amount there to support the expansion. So nothing came from the city, nothing came from people. This was the county allowing monies set aside that was strictly to expand our library, which is beautiful. So then we started in 2018, having what we call these meetings, vision meetings with local folks. We had about 50 people that came to the meetings held out at the Carnegie, and we started saying what were the needs of the new library and prioritizing those needs so that this would give direction to the design people, and then of course the construction, and of course it had to keep within the 12 million, etc. So it was, and some of the things that came out of this, you will see, were the highlights of the expansion. And looking there, you see that is the Children's Library corner with it's going to be a big focus as you walk in and you look to the children's room direction. You will see all of that. So we wanted a community room, because there really isn't one in Turlock, that is able to seat 100 people. And so that's what we're getting. An expanded children's library, way more space to hold programs for children, to allow more movement, etc. We wanted a dedicated teen space, because teens have sometimes been like an afterthought in some places. You'll say, well, we'll prop up a table here and call it the teen space. And that's really how it was in the latter library. Now it has its own room, its own space. And then a maker space. And I don't know if you're familiar with what that is, but in this day and age of, STEM and really pushing for engineering and mathematical and creativity, this is a room that will be designed to, it will have like 3D printers, sewing machines, various kinds of things people can come and make, all right, and take. And therefore, it is a special room, special kind of flooring, etc., to allow for those kinds of activities. It will be the only one. They've got one under construction at the Modesto Library, but this is the only one that will be completed and ready to go. So we also said we'd live an outdoor courtyard. We live, it's basically, the library is set in a park, which is, we are so lucky that they maintain the trees. They'll be having the grass area restored, but we wanted a little outdoor courtyard. And this courtyard, which is fabulous, is going to be, as you walk into the library through the vestibule and you go to the left, you will be able to walk into the community room and then to the outdoor courtyard. This will allow for events to take place after hours or Sundays or, whatever. So it's really bringing a whole new dimension to our library use. And we think that the outdoor courtyard will be fab. People can see out there. You can flow from having a program inside the community room and flow out into the courtyard with your group. So we're looking forward to that. We wanted a quiet reading room, although libraries have evolved, and of course they're a hubbub of activity. You've got, people coming in to get on the computers. You got people doing tutoring or going to a meeting, but we also want to maintain, and so there is a quiet reading room area that is very much designated for that piece. There will be, as you saw in the beginning, the adult area. We're calling that now the main library, walking in, because it sounded kind of weird, the adult area. So it's the main library as you walk in, the vestibule. And then outside of the children's room, right back in this area in here that I'm pointing to, is a children's patio. Well, this is going to be, we're calling it the Imagination Station. It will be a small area covered with ability to take activities that you might want to do outdoors right there in a safe environment. And so these are the highlights of our new library. and it has been pretty exciting. So along came, as we progressed, we got the money approved, we got the needs and priorities approved. We decided that, all right, the wonderful county is supporting their county library. We are one of 13 county libraries, and going to allow for this rebuild. But we wanted to have this be a spotlight, a beacon of light. I wanted this to be a wow, when people come to the Turlock Library, and I think you're going to see that. So we launched a campaign, a library campaign committee consisting of wonderful Jeannie and John Ferrari as our co-chairs, who actually were way back when we were having just kind of an informal, let's get a new library campaign going on. And at our book sales, we would say, if you want to donate for the library fund, you put in a few dollars. When we were at the farmer's market, put in a few dollars, all that. Well, Jeannie and John came along and spurred the whole thing with a $25,000 match for us to the Friends, which really kicked off the 2020 press release of saying, here's our members that we gathered through Jeannie and John, members from the community. And what you're seeing here is the community room. The community room will be, and here's the vista where you can exit out to the courtyard. So you get the chance to see that, and the chairs, the tables. So part of what we're doing as this committee started to raise their funds is to look at, for example, those tables and the chairs. We're looking at wood. We're looking at highlighting and augmenting and upgrading. So the library gets an actual amount, to furnish everything, just like in schools. The desks are paid for by the schools, etc. I'm a product of education, retiree, but in the libraries, they have a certain amount, and it was about $300,000 to furnish, to put in the technology, everything, into the insides of the library, because the 12 million was the outsides and getting it set up. So we felt that the need for this library campaign was to do a couple of things, which is our next slide. And you will see to raise funds that immediately supplement the base dollar. So although they put in the 300 and some thousand, it's to allocate for upgrade on furnishings, enhancements, things that would, for example, the 3D printer, instead of just one, we're going to have several, equipment and technology, more computers. So we targeted 50,000 for immediate monies that would be fit the priorities identified by the community. And right now, the Friends of the Turlock Library is looking at an upgrade in furniture in the children's room and seeing some things we'd like to see to augment that area. And so we're really pleased. And the other 500,000, so it was $1 million campaign, is for long-term support, so that the library is no longer, and bless your heart, Chris, I remember you saying about the book fair and how much people miss it. We will continue to, of course, to have the book fair, but now we can have it in our community room, and we can have it maybe more often, or however way we want to change it. But we will not be dependent upon it for our funds, because we're going to have a certain amount of money that will be coming in every year because of people pledging through this campaign to help support a long term, which is wonderful, because when times get bad economically, it's the libraries that tend to take a deep drop. And so this gives long-term support and sustainability, this other 500,000. And so now we move to the next slide. And in the library, there are 9 rooms. And this, which says 5 remaining, is an old piece, because I am happy to say each of the rooms that I mentioned back in the children's room and the outdoor patio and all of that is 9. There are only 2 remaining rooms. Pretty much amazing. So we have had families and individuals and businesses, etc., who have stepped up to say they wanted a room. And so that's a naming piece that will be on the founder's wall. as you walk into the library. And then we've also offered up the ability to donate any amount from 100 and above to be permanently recognized on what we're calling the community wall, which will be inside the library, listing all the names and giving an honor to all the friends by a statement that says we never would have been able to do this without the support and energy behind the friends of the library who've been there forever. And so that is what we're involved in now. And there is, if, as I said, we are coming up on the end of the campaign, actually next week. But I was so thankful that Ali called me and said, we did a presentation to City Council just to inform and keep them knowledgeable, but also to say, wow, we're so proud of what our community has done and given. So now we've moved to, as we close, to, reaching out. And I was happy to be able to speak to you folks, because if you are interested in any last minute and being a part of this campaign, that's the next last slide there. Well, this was Jeannie's, the wall, we feel will leave a legacy that the community can come honor for generations. Yesterday, I met with a gentleman and he said, here's what I want. I want each of my grandchildren to have their name on the wall, so that when they come in here, they can go, look at, there I am, and the pride that goes with it. And so we're hearing those kinds of things. And so if you want more information, that is our last slide, you can contact, you can email Friends of the Turlock Public Library, the friends at 2020gmail.com. We're also show the library, if you want to see specific pictures of the progress of the insides, you can go to the Stanislaus Library website, Turlock Expansion. And I'm going to add here, if you are interested and want to do an immediate piece in terms of the wall, I'm going to give you my phone number and my email, because it's Pat Portwood, lowercase, at gmail.com. And maybe Ali can get this to you if you're wanting to know more specifically, because as I said, we are on a deadline. We have a gentleman who is donating his time to construct the beautiful wall. But in order to get all those names on it, we kind of had to set a deadline to get it done so that we would be prepared when it's time to open, to have those names up and can honor them. So if you're interested, it is patportwood@gmail.com. And my home phone, I'm going to give you my home phone rather than my cell. It's 634-3592. If you are wanting to make any kind of a donation of $100 or more, and I have paperwork for that. Otherwise, in terms of opening, and I'll take some questions, in terms of opening, we are looking to, which is incredible. I know we need more rain, but it's been in our favor in terms of building, because we have been right on the mark, and Roebling Construction has got us there. We were estimated to finish in April, and we will be finished in April. When we can open to go the insides will be the librarians will come in. And of course that will be done, very safely and within the guidelines from CDC. And so they will come in and set the library up. Okay. And we will have, from there, we will go to seeing what the guidelines are. We're hoping that end of May, beginning of June, that we could actually open the doors to the public. If we were still under the guidelines, that's going to be something like 25 people at a time and all of that. And with the safety, taking temperatures, etc., and with masks. So we're still kind of waiting on that, but we're definitely hoping that if you think of June 1st and you think of letting in a few people at a time, we want to have a pre-opening to honor our donors. So 2 days before the public opening, and then begin to open up. If it remains that we cannot, there still would be moving to our library in May. You could do the checkouts, not still online, but the pickups would be right out in front of our place instead of it being as it has been over in Denair. So Those are some questions. I mean, those are some information. And if you would like to ask some questions, I am available.
So Pat, we got a question from our chat. Valerie would like to know who has sponsored the teen and children's rooms.
Okay, the teen room was the Alum family. And which was the other room, the makerspace?
I think the children's room is the other one that she asked
Oh,
about.
the children's room, Jeannie and John Ferrari.
Which two are
The
left?
quiet reading, yeah. The quiet reading room, Kent and Ginger Johnson. We have the Machado family is done one of the rooms. We have, so everything's taken except for 2 rooms, and that is the community room. And then we've been hoping to get like a business or someone who, it's $150,000 commitment, but what it is by pledging. We are using the same manner of fundraising that was used for the Carnegie, which is you can pledge $1,000 and pay and make it be a $10,000. So in 10 years, so $1,000 a year. So there's ability to give in manners that are flexible enough for families and for our own personal individual selves, instead of it being, because if you go for 150,000, but there's ways to do it, and we do have pledge forms. And that's why I said, if you would like to know more personally, please just feel free to contact me anytime this weekend, next week, but consider next Friday, a week from today, the cutoff. I mean, we really are having to do that in order to get the wall constructed and finalized. So otherwise, I'm going to be sound, but of course, we'll always continue to take donations for the library, and they will always go into the building fund, which is still always going to support the things I identified, like the furnishings, the technology, and trees out inside in the walkway, and things that are going to make this be an exceptional library. We want the wow when you walk in. So that's what we're working on as a Friends of the Turlock Library Board. And if ever you're interested in joining us, please let me know.
Pat, you said there were 2 rooms, and then you said the community room is still available. What's the second room that's still available?
The main library. That's $175,000 as you walk in. But once again, it's under the pledge agreements, which allows like I said, flexibility. It isn't 175,000, all in one lump sum. So I liked that. That's how they built the Carnegie, and Jeannie and John Ferrari suggested it. It has worked very well, because what happens is that people give the certain amount, but then they pledge. And so you know what that pledging does? That's our sustainability. If I'm going to give 1,000, if I'm going to give 10,000, I give 1,000 this year, and then you count on me for 9 more years. And that's how we set up all of our accounting and our budgets, which is going to be so exciting. And it really has opened the doors for many individuals to be able to give.
Does anybody else have any questions for Pat?
It's a lot, I know. Well, I'm just thrilled. I can't tell you how impressed and thrilled about the love of the library and the support from this community, especially during COVID. You never knew, people have had some tough times, and businesses, etc. And yet we have had unbelievable amount of support. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to talk to you, and feel free to give me a call if you want more information. And meanwhile, look forward to the exciting opening, and it's going to be a big deal, and it's going to be beautiful, and well worth the wait, even though it has been a year. So, okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. We do a raffle after this, so we don't expect you to have to sit here through the raffle. We are so excited that you came, though, and I will make sure that your information, I already put it in the chat, but we'll also make sure it's on the email that we send to the rest of our members after we finish recording today's meeting.
Well, thank you so much, Ali, for the invitation too. Really appreciate talking to you folks. Have a great day, all of you. Okay,
you.
thank you.
Okay, before I do the raffle, I have to fix my thing. Yesterday I had a virtual background and somehow it mirrored my video, and now I am backwards. It is confusing. Okay, I feel better now. Being in some sort of third dimension, so I apologize. I tried to do that in the middle of the last thing, but
They'll have at some point.
okay.
Yeah.
So weekly drawing.
Hey,
we're having the drawing here.
Okay, this is the weekly drawing. So the first one is going to be for a box of nuts from Mike Stack. Repeat, the first one is for a box of nuts from Mike Stack. Stan won a box of nuts, almonds, salted. Let me remove Stan's name from this one. And then the next thing we have in our weekly drawing is we got a mask donated from the farmhouse. Which I picked up and then won. That's awkward. Let's spin it again. Norma won a mask, which she can get when she gets her name badge. Congratulations, Norma. And lastly, we have the $5 winner, which is really like being a winner nowadays because no one can fine you. Mike Stack was the $5 winner. Mike, you get your $5 from David. All right, to clear up any confusion from last time, this is the second wheel for the 50-50 drawing. It really does have its own wheel. These names were sent to me this morning. Vern had tried to contact both myself and David to pledge in. So this morning, Chris put in your money, Vern, and you owe Chris money. But your name is on the wheel because you are present and we knew that you wanted to participate. You just had trouble lining up drop off and pickup schedules this week. All right. So the
Hey, my name is on there.
your name is on there.
I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. I had people texting me last night. You guys are getting serious now as this goes further. People last night were like, is my name on that wheel? Because I want to be on the wheel and I need to know if I have to be there. And I was like, yeah, everybody's name's on the wheel. The prize this time is $100, which you would, oh, wait, oh no, because Vern added, it's like 100 and
So two things. If you want to know if you're on any of these drawings, send it to me. The president's got enough going on. I'm the one that's handling the names and making sure. Send it to me. Also, yes, $110 is the prize for today.
110 because Vern got in at the last minute. All right, shall we? I feel like there should be some sort of music when this thing goes. Valerie, who is present.
Oh.
Congratulations, Valerie. So now, Valerie, you have some funds to pick up from David, but also don't forget you have a mug to pick up from me from last week when you are back in Turlock.
I'll be there the week of the 10th of March.
And as always, this is a donation experience. So we thank you all for your donation. That will help us to do some giving this year. The last thing I have on our list for today is that we have to open up our elections process. So if you would like to nominate someone to be the president next year, or you would love to be the president next year, or secretary or treasurer, or any of those things, if you know someone who's interested, now is your chance to let me know. It'll be on our board agenda to get started next week, which we meet next Tuesday at 6 o'clock at Mike Stack's barn because he volunteered last time. Thanks, Mike. If you have something for the agenda, let me know. But also, if you would love to be an officer, if you've been waiting your whole life for this opportunity to be a officer, we're ready for you. Nobody's jumping up to be.
I don't think so.
No?
Allison, we have a nomination for president for next year, and we would like to nominate Allison Jeffrey for president.
Yeah.
I heard that Mike
Second.
Stack said that earlier, but I will write it down. Has anybody talked to Dennis recently? Is Dennis there?
Yes, Dennis is here.
Is Dennis going to be president? I think he's second vice president. He might have he has an opportunity to decline.
Dennis, would you?
No, because I don't know what's going on. They just nominated you for.
We can always nominate Dennis. I mean, then let the club decide.
Yeah, there you go. Let's do
Maybe he wants to be secretary.
I think we need to have some election enthusiasm. So if we nominate Dennis Thompson, then we can have some speakers and some speeches, and I think that'd be a good idea.
I think during a pandemic, you shouldn't change president.
Pandemic president, you get to try and figure out who the speaker is and whether or not they already know how to use Zoom. It's super great. The hardest part is that there's a Zoom learning curve, right? We've already passed that.
It has to be done within like.
All right. If anybody else has a nomination for vice president or presidents, if you can get them to me before the meeting, that would be ideal. We'll be taking them at next week's meeting, I'm pretty sure too, because but the sooner you get his nominations, the sooner we get to ask someone like Dennis, hey, how do you really feel about that? But I wouldn't do it again. I'm just saying I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to be a president who wants to be a president. Also, if you thought, I would love to be a board member, no one's ever asked me, please let me know, because board members like to change over every couple years, and so we might have some new people who want to step in. If not, I'm just going to re-nominate all the same people, just like everybody else does. I'm just kidding. I think also, I would be remiss if I did not say that the lieutenant governor is still looking for a person to be the lieutenant governor in 2022. So if you have been a president in the past and you are itching for the opportunity to have a larger role, she's looking for you, and I can give you her email. All right, guys, what did I forget? Did I forget anything? Do we have any key club updates or action club updates that we didn't get? Did I forget anybody's important milestone?
We're selling See's candy for Action Club.
Yes, you are. I shared.
We already all know that.
So someone asked me yesterday, they're like, how come you're not posting a bunch of stuff to sell candy? Honestly, I've been resharing all the posts from the kids. So if someone from the Key Club or somewhere posts the See's candy and I see it or they tag us, I'm sharing theirs to push theirs through for probably the rest of this week. And then after that, I'll start pushing ours. But I want to make sure that the Key Clubs and Action Clubs and Circle K Club have an opportunity to sell their candy first before we start selling our own. You can obviously buy from one of those people as well. If you're a Kiwanis member, you don't have to buy from us. You could pick your favorite Circle K member and buy lots of candy from them. And they can sell from either form, even though they only have one form. So if you're like, but I really want that nuts and chews box, just tell them, they'll work it out for you. If you missed the last meeting, the See's candy people were super nice, but they sent me the wrong forms, and I just got these ones like 2 days ago. So we're selling all the forms. They said, since we messed up, you can sell all the forms. So thanks to them, we like that. Orders will be here by Easter. I think that's it. I think that's all we have today.
Allison, I got one more request to the members of the club here that are on Zoom and here at Mr. Stack's house. I think it would be a good idea that everybody call at least one member that we haven't been in touch with for the last, quite a few months, and just tell them that we're thinking of them, see how they're doing, talk to them, and then maybe next week we can report back on who you contacted, just to make them feel wanted. Because I contacted Todd Morgan a couple weeks. He was so appreciative that I just called him to see how he's doing. And I think it really means a lot to the other members if we would touch base with them and just let them know that we're thinking of them. So if everybody could just call one person and report back next week, I think we need to start gearing up a little bit, because we're going to get back eventually. And that's another thing we need to start thinking about, where we're going to meet when we can get back, because I'm really pretty sure Latest is not going to reopen. The other day, they've got an asbestos problem in the roof, and the insurance is not going to cover it. So I don't see how Nick is going to have enough money to do all this repair work. So I just really think that we need to start thinking about where we're going to meet once we can, start meeting again in public. So that's a couple things I think we need to consider, and hopefully just reach out and contact one person that we haven't heard from or seen for a while. Everybody has a membership list, so if you don't, call up Chris or send Chris an email, and I get you one, I'm sure.
How about we do one better? How about if when we send up this video, we just attach the most current membership list?
Perfect. Yeah, we can do that too.
Even if we have to wait a
Good
little
idea.
bit to send it out, because I know that Chris has a real job and she's like, dang it, Allie. But we'll try and attach a list. It's been a while since.
I
we've been-
have it. I'll send it out this morning with the meeting
Okay.
list.
I was like, I know as officers, it's been a little bit since I've got a list. We've got a couple new people as well. I know the other day, Larry was on my porch and we were talking about members we had not talked to. So I'm glad that you got the opportunity to reach out to a couple people. I think that's a wonderful idea. You guys do cross our mind. We do talk about the fact that you're not here. We're super excited to see Kevin today has rejoined the cohort that's off in other places. And anytime we catch somebody sort of back again, we are super excited. Also, if you don't want to join via Zoom or you don't know how to join via Zoom, but you're like watching all the reading all the emails, feel free to write back to the email and be like, I'm here and I love watching them, because we would love to know who's actually watching the videos, I think too. I know some of you do email back when you watch the videos, because I hear that occasionally, or you email me, but that is fantastic advice and I'm super excited about it. Also, once again, if you have anything for the board meeting, our board meeting is next Tuesday at Mike Stack's barn, because he volunteered last time and we love that about him. And dinner will be provided. And if you're a board member, you need to RSVP to me so I know how many people we're feeding. We're gonna double the blessing next week for the board meeting. There is a pizza fundraiser for one of our favorite community nonprofits at Willie's. So we'll be doing pizza to support them in their fundraiser and also come to our meeting. So like, what are we having? That's what we're having. We're low budget, but we're gonna help someone else.
Thank you, Allison.
I'll show you some more. Hey.
All right,
idea.
I think that's it.
Hey, have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye.